Well, folks, another match week in the books. And it was an interesting one for match week 25 of the Premier League. Noel, we had some very interesting results, some good, some bad, depending on your perspective. But we'll get into it shortly. How are you doing there, Noel?
As I was just moaning to you off air, I'm freezing. I'm so fed up with the minus 25 conditions at the moment that we've been in the last 3 weeks. So I'm bored of it. I am bored of being cold. I'm bored of running everywhere from my car. Yeah. So I'd rather stay at home and watch soccer, but
Yeah,
but you have to go and do this thing called work to pay the bills. So yeah, fun, but it's all good.
that is, yep. And for those who, are any of our UK viewers, if you haven't seen the weather report in Canada or in Toronto, don't. It's not pleasant at all. And you'll just laugh at us. That's basically it. So we
Pretty
can move on from the miserable weather dealing with, and we can take a look at the some big results for some teams this weekend, some key results for some teams this weekend, and I think with it by the weekend, a certain Man United player or fan may finally be able to get a haircut. So Man
yeah.
United is on 4 wins to that young man who's got it's a hot mess at this point, which I shouldn't talk. But yeah, Man United 2, Spurs 0. Should we be surprised by or do you want to, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the red card, the
No,
result,
that's
um,
well, it's
Man
interesting because
United?
we should just start with Romero for context this week. So I forgot this game was on because it was the early game, and I wasn't paying attention, and so I kind of logged in and just flicked on the channel, and it was already 1-0 and the red card. So I wait till halftime, went back and kind of watched the incident, and it's Christian Romero. And Romero, for those that haven't referenced, last week came out and called out the board of Spurs for not investing during the January transfer window, saying that he's ambitious, they want to win. And it's the second or third time that he's kind of called out Spurs, and he's kind of took to his social media to kind of really promote it. And then people all week long have been saying, you know what, he needs to do his talking on the pitch. Well, he did his talking on the pitch and got himself sent off. Um, and it's again, it's not a reckless challenge; it's a clumsy challenge, right? It's just a dumb, pointless challenge that he gets involved in something, and I think it's in Buemo he gets involved with first, throws like a meat. I think it's actually, maybe it's Cunha. I think he throws an elbow into him, and then he bounces off him, and then he just goes in on Casemiro, and Casemiro's foot is stuck in the ground. His ankle takes the full brunt of it, and it's a straight red. And he doesn't argue, and I don't think anybody who watched the replay, it's clearly a straight red. It's not intent, but the problem is it is clear red. He's lost control. Moment of madness, right? And that's the problem. You put your team on the back foot after 29 minutes, and again, United, to their credit, when they lost against Everton earlier this year, when they started, I think they played a similar sort of time length against Everton when was it Gay got sent off for Everton, and they didn't score, and then they end up losing that game. But United had a well worked routine, and got a great corner, and Buemo scores 1-0, and then it was over from that point. You kind of knew it was going to come, and you kind of got to look at it, and United's were grinding through the gears, and they should have had a couple more, and then 81st minute, Bruno Fernandes gets the second one that seals it and puts it away. But again, it's from the United standpoint, they're resurgent under Michael Carrick. They look better, they are playing better, the players look happier. Do I think he's going to get the job? I think so. I think at this point he might be getting the job, but I don't think it's the right decision. I think you have to kind of see where he is at the end of the season, and if he does a good job at the end of the season, then maybe that is the move. But right now, I think United, if I look at it, they're playing freely, the players look happy, and they are resurgent. And as you pointed out, that one poor fan that's been waiting a long time for 5 wins in a row could quite easily get that this week. And I think they have West Ham, so I'm really hoping they do get that win this week. So, but it's an interesting time. Obviously United's
that's tomorrow.
the highlight.
Yeah. You and I probably aren't two that can sit here and, boast about Man United, but the way they're playing, this is I think with the players that they added in the offseason, this is how I think the fans, management had expected them to play. And it took, basically getting rid of the coach that was stuck in his ways, that was stuck in a one system that wasn't working, and he refused to budge. He had his players that he felt fit his system better. And now that Carrick has come in, he's tweaked the lineup. He's brought in players that seem to have been on the outs with Amrin, and he's getting them to perform. He's getting them to play. The team is looking like a team, not a group of individuals. Like at the end of the day, you have to give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
They are buying into a system
that
allows. Yeah, they're playing good football. He's given the players the freedom to play, to do what you do best. Midfielders to control possession, dictate the pace and the direction of the game. Versus Amrin was very stuck in that his formation and his style that didn't suit the individuals that you had on your roster. And I think that is what makes that's the difference between being a decent coach or even a good coach and a great coach. A great coach adapts. He adjusts. He understands who his opponent is and sets a lineup that's going to compete best against that team. Versus, nope, this is how I play. The players have to figure it out regardless. And we've seen this in the past. Amarin. If you're stuck in these ways and you're not willing to adjust, this is the Premier League. It's not just any league out there where you have maybe two other teams that you really compete with on a yearly basis. And this is not no slight to Portugal or no slight to any of these other leagues, but that's the reality of where most of these coaches seem to be coming from. They're not coming from a league where every week, if you're not prepared, you could potentially drop points. As usual, thanks for joining us, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and of course, with all our videos, give us that thumbs up. All right, Noel, my friend, thanks for another week.
Yep.
I don't know when we'll record our next one because these midweek games just kind of suck, but we'll try to get catch up in the next few days.
We'll have a quick recap some point this week. I think maybe we'll try and squeeze one in and get a quick recap going. But yeah, I think some big games on obviously coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'm just Forest of Wolves. I need them to get 3 points at the City Ground, so that would be nice.
Yeah, and we're away to Sunderland, so that's not going to be an easy one. But hopefully they can get the 3 points. So that is it for us here with another episode of the 6 Yard Line podcast. I'm Sean. That's Noel. Thanks for joining us. Y'all have a good one. Take care.
Thanks, guys.